Hi, everybody. Also, an update. Yes, so as I said in my last video, if you don't want that $2,000 check, send it to me. So, yes, Trump announced yesterday on November 9th, 2025, that he will be, or either there will be, or they will be considering a form of a dividend payment from the tariffs that he's implemented in April. We have collected over $100 billion in tariff revenue, and he is announcing that the most of it will go to paying the debt. Don't see a problem with that. The debt, and can we just talk about that really quickly as a sidebar? Again, I've never voted for Trump. When I was firmly on the liberal side of things, I had a whole podcast in his first administration. I did not like anything he did in his first administration, to be honest, and I stand on that. But this is a different administration, and he's very much, very, very different this time around. And I just want to give him credit for that. Give credit where credit is due. Having said that, how many presidents have we had that the deficit just keep running up, the debt just keeps going up? Even in his first term, he ran the debt up too because he didn't reduce spending. This time around, we have a administration that says, well, we're going to cut the waste and the fraud, which he did with the Doge cuts. That was hard, and that was hard for people. People lost their jobs, but that's how you balance a budget. You decrease spending. Ideally, you would want to increase taxes, but he's a businessman. Whether you think he's failed or successful, that's on you. He's a businessman who essentially, in his eyes, I'm not gonna increase taxes because that'll send businesses away. That is a fact. That's an economic fact. I raise taxes. Well, guess what? I'll send my jobs overseas, bring my product back into America, and then guess what? Because I have to account for that loss in the increase in taxes, guess whose prices will go up? Yours. This is a normal economic fundamentals of economics. And what we have is that every time we raise the taxes on the corporate tax, guess what? More jobs leave, and that's how it is. So that's why he went the tariff route. The tariff is to also balance the trade deficit. This is what the Democrats and the liberals are doing, in my opinion, are essentially what they're doing is essentially basically going with the narrative, everything Trump does is bad. It doesn't matter. At this point, if you are in an echo chamber and they've implanted into your brain that everything if he farts, it's bad, if he coughs, it's bad, if he has a moment of weakness, everything that he does is bad. He can give every American $1 million and they will say, what the hell? I don't want it. And he's trying to give us money. But like I said, send it my way. So the tariff money, what is tariff? That's another income for the government. So other than raising taxes, right? Instead of raising taxes on me and you, or collecting tax money from the American people and then giving it back in the terms of a stimulus check and printing more money, which actually increases inflation and decreases the value of the dollar, because if there's more money into the economy, then each unit of the dollar goes down. It's a supply and demand economics. This is basic stuff. Whereas if you remove money, which is something that the Federal Reserve was doing for, I think they were removing to upwards to $45 billion at one point from the economy and parking it in cash reserves in the bank. These are all common sense stuff you could look up. It's normal stuff. Not common sense, it's common knowledge things. So whereas tariff money, yes, prices will go up a little bit, which they have. Prices have gone up. That's just true. However, but they haven't gone up to this astronomical doomsday level that the Democrats were saying that they were going to go up. I mean, for weeks they were talking about, this is going to be the end. Oh, it's over. Buy your stuff now because the economy is going to tank. The economy hasn't tanked. In fact, inflation has ticked down a little bit. But the prices have still gone up, yes. However, they haven't gone up. Why? Because with the big, beautiful bill, it offsets when they give you a tax cut. So those businesses okay, you're charging me this tariff because you're in a trade war. You're trying to get everybody to come back to the table, which China came back to the table and made a deal. They're still in phase one. We'll see what happens with that. but you wanted to do that because you wanted to bring people back to the table, and then you're giving me a tax cut, so I'll go easy and play the market with my prices in terms of food and energy, which is the number two things that really went up. The two things that went up that are still high is food and energy, main things that everybody uses. Having said that, tariff money is an income that is separate from the tax-paying dollars. That money is strictly a levy that happens when a company makes something in another country and tries to bring it back in here, which is what I said before. When you raise taxes, they send their jobs over and then they bring their product to America, raise the price on that product because we raised the taxes, and they have to account for that in business. So having said that, these people, now you're saying, well, you either A, bring your jobs back, or I'm going to charge you this much of a tariff, and the government's going to collect that. So we've collected over 100 billion. I think the last figure that I saw was 157, and I think that was weeks ago. We've collected that. They've tried to stop him from doing it, and now he's taking that money and he's giving a portion of that back to the American people, and it's not coming from printing money. Whereas in COVID, they were just like, hey, Federal Reserve, make it rain, and give people stimulus checks. This is purely from the levies that the government, and it's never been done in American history. So again, you can sit there and say everything Trump does is bad, and we hate Trump, and Trump is evil. He's a king, and he's an authoritarian, and all these fucking words that they've put out about Trump, and trying to find all these little stupid things that can line up to him and to make him seem like he's an authoritarian, and Project 2025, all this bullshit. It's all fucking noise, because the Democrats have nothing. Instead of the Democrats have nothing to stand on other than hate and resist from Trump. And it's the same thing that they did the first time, and it's not going to work this time. The people are smarter. People are looking at it and saying, okay, he's toned down the rhetoric. That was the biggest thing. You said he was racist and all these things. Now, time will tell in a couple of years that they'll realize, okay, Trump wasn't that bad second time around. I think he's done a lot in his first time. He's actually governing. He's not sitting around pointing fingers and blaming this person like he did and throwing fits and throwing tantrums and arguing and all stuff. He's literally, okay, you're going to stop me here, we're going to try this route. You're going to stop me here, we're going to try the route. He's being effective, and that is what people are looking at. It's like he's getting shit done. Whether I like what he's doing or not, he's getting shit done. Shit that people for years, we talked about, it went from 30 trillion, 27 trillion to 37 trillion. Even under his administration, the first time, it went up. Under the Obama administration, it doubled. Or George Bush went up. Nobody's ever addressed the trade deficit. We always say, well, we have a trade deficit, but nobody addresses it. He comes in and does something drastic, shakes things up, and he's getting results, and they're mad and saying everything's gloom and doom. But the gloom and doom is not showing. It's not happening. The country is not in turmoil. And if it is, it's because they're leading an entire bullshit narrative, and instead of telling people to think for themselves, reaching across the aisle and then recalibrating their message and saying, hey, listen, we understand we hate Trump, and we still gonna hate Trump, but we're gonna work with him to see if we can get some stuff done for you. Use that to recalibrate your message, to make it about the working family, so then when it's time to take on the Trump successor, you would have something to think about. Reaching across the aisle and working with them in bipartisanship is not a bad thing. Democrats, listen, bipartisanship is not a bad thing. Working with Trump to say, hey, maybe, reaching across the aisle and saying, hey, Trump, I see what you're trying to do. How about you do it this way, and we'll actually join you. Working across the aisle, and I'm sure from what I can see, he's willing and open to talk to the Democrats, regardless of what he says about them. He's willing and open to have conversations with them because he understands that he needs to do what's right for the American people. And a lot of I don't agree with everything. 50-year mortgages, bro, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And I can go on and on about the things that I don't like about Trump. And if you want me to, comment below and I will. But comment below. Listen, he's going to give these $2,000, and he says, well, up to $8,000 for $8,000 for a family of 4. That affects me directly. I have 2 children. And you know what I'm saying? That affects everybody. And even if it doesn't come in the form of a check, to give me a tax break on top of the tax break you gave me as a nurse for my fucking overtime, 12,500 credit. Thank you for helping the middle class with something. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these Democrats, They just want to print money like they're crazy, pay money to their donors. Not that the Republicans don't do that, but this is what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, you're doing what you said you're gonna do. You're a man of your word, and that is why Trump won. That's why in his eyes and the eyes of many MAGA, he is winning. So tell me what you think below in the comments. Please be respectful. I will only engage with intellectual and respectful commentary. If you're gonna call me a stupid N-word or whatever you want to call me and call me stupid, no. If you're not intellectual, if you're not coming at me with facts, I have nothing to say to you. I will let you. I don't negotiate with trolls, and I do not respond to them. So if you have something to say respectfully, put your sources, come at me straight, and we can have a respectful dialogue. Until then, this has been a Shiesty moment. Thank you so much with a Shiesty nurse. Stay woke, everybody.